Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and this video is about IT career roadmap. So I made this roadmap for those people who are trying to transition from a different career into IT, and for those people who are trying to figure out if IT is a right fit for them. So if you are one of those people, or if you're just interested to see what an IT career roadmap is like, please keep on watching, and without further ado, let's get started with the video. So a roadmap is basically a plan of the path and the steps that you have to take to achieve the career that you want. So I created this IT career roadmap to those people who are trying to figure out how to get into IT, what steps they have to take, what the first step they need to do. So here is a guide if you are really interested to get into IT. All of the steps that you can take as a guide to get started. Okay, so before we start with the steps like what to study, if you need a certificate, there is a basic evaluation that you have to do before you even start your roadmap, before you even start investing your time and money into studying, getting certified, and getting all the skills that you need for the job. So these are the questions that I have that I would like you to ask yourself and evaluate yourself before we even get officially started with the steps that you have to take for the roadmap. So the very first question is, do you like technology? Do you like working with technology? Are you a techie person? Next question, do you like learning? Do you like to keep on improving yourself? Do you like to learn new skills? Do you like to keep evolving and improving your skills? And the last question I would like you to ask yourself is, do you like talking to people? Are you a people person? Do you like helping people? Do you like training and mentoring people? So if you answered a no to even one of this question, the next step that I would like you to do is to please rethink and reevaluate. Even if you answered no to just one question in there, like, do you like talking to people? If you don't like talking to people, if you're not really a people person, I would like you to rethink if you really want to be in IT. These questions is what it takes to have a really successful IT career. So if you don't like technology, you're not techie, maybe IT is not for you. If you don't like learning and improving yourself and skills, maybe IT is not for you. And if you don't like people because you really don't like talking to people, or you are shy, maybe IT is not for you. So if you answered no to even one of these questions, I would like you to just skip this entire video for now and just rethink and reevaluate. But if you answered yes to all of these questions, the next step for you is to proceed to the roadmap. So we are gonna plan and outline what the steps you can take to achieve your goal of being an IT professional one day. Okay, so if you answered yes to all of the questions previously, then here are the next steps on what you have to do. I have another question as well. The question is, do you have a tech background, whether it's work or education? Do you have a background? Do you have a tech background where you studied IT or tech support or something like that, or you already got certified but you're looking for a job? That counts as a background. If you also have a work background, like you had internship or volunteer experience before, or you were probably in the Geek Squad before, or something very similar to IT, then that still counts as a background as well. So there's two answers for this, yes or no. So if you answered no, the next thing you can do is proceed to roadmap. And if you answered yes to this, the next step is proceed to roadmap. So the next step would be proceed to the roadmap, because I have two different roadmaps if you answered yes or no to the following question. Okay, so for those who don't have a tech background yet, no tech education, no work experience yet, here is the roadmap for you. Okay, so the very first thing is to see if you will like it first by taking free courses, maybe in Udemy or Coursera or wherever you can find a free course in IT or troubleshooting or computer, the very basic. Next, Also, you can try to watch some YouTube tutorials about very basic computer skills that you can learn. So I made this the first step before really investing your time into studying and practicing and getting certified, because even if you think that you like IT, maybe when you get started learning it, maybe you will realize that it's not for you, because IT is not for everyone, and because right now it's very in demand and it pays well, and you will have the opportunity to work with really cool companies like Google, and also have really cool perks like work from home, work remotely. A lot of people nowadays want to get into tech and transition into tech, but sometimes it's not really for you. So try free courses and tutorial first and see if you like it. You can catch up on it and pick it up easily before we get started with the actual official steps in the roadmap. Okay, so if you like what you are watching and you are thirsty for more knowledge and skills, now you can study the following skills that are necessary when you work in IT. So you can study hardware and software, operating systems, troubleshooting, Active Directory, basic networking, and more. So by studying the following skills, you can enroll into a course. You can enroll in online courses or actual school. There are different ways on how to study. It's up to you on your situation, on how much time you can spend, how much money you can spend. So this is really up to you if you want to take an online course because you are also working full-time, or if you're not working, maybe you can go to an actual school. It's really up to your situation. But study the following skills. As long as you learn all the skills that I've listed down below, then you will be good. After you have learned all the necessary skills, you have the background and knowledge now with tech and IT. So I want you to build home labs and practice. So most of the skills here can be practiced in your own computer at home. So I want you to build home labs like creating your own virtual machines. Try to install your own Windows Server, Active Directory, play around with Active Directory with different commands and troubleshooting tools that are needed when you are resolving an issue. By the way, I also have an Active Directory tutorial from installing Active Directory and how it's used in the workplace. So if you want to check it out, the video is in my channel. So after you have learned the skills, you have practiced and built home labs, another optional but highly recommended step is to get certified. So there are a lot of different certifications that you can take, especially if you don't have prior experience and educational background in IT. So you can take the CompTIA A+ because it covers hardware and software basics, a lot of foundational and fundamental IT skills like basic networking, security, customer service. You can also try out different certifications like Google IT support. It also covers all the fundamentals of IT, and also I think there is an IBM Tech support. So for those who are watching this video, I highly recommend it, but I don't force you to get certifications because it really depends on your situation, because certification can cost money and also time for you to study and review and pass the certification. But if you don't have prior work experience and background, I really highly recommend this if you can, because this will be an edge for you as a candidate. Because imagine if there's also a lot of different candidates there that also have the same skills you and same situation where they don't have prior work experience and educational background, but they do have certifications. Do you think that without having certification you will stand out? Of course, those who have more knowledge will stand out among the candidates. So it's really highly recommended, especially if you don't have any work experience at all. Okay, so the next step is after you have learned the skills, you have built home labs and you practiced a lot and you also got certified. Next is if you can find volunteer work if possible. I also did volunteer work to gain experience. It's called Free Geek, where we tore down computer parts and rebuilt machines for repurposing. I learned a lot about hardware in there and procedures. So if you can find something similar in where you live, you should definitely try it out. Okay, so next is prepare your resume. So this is now a preparation for applying for jobs, and you are getting closer now to getting into IT and getting your first role in IT. So now that you have all the skills and you have practice and probably got certified and also volunteered, you can put something on your resume now. You can prepare your resume now because you have something to put on your resume, like tech skills that you have learned, the home labs that you have built. So please specify your tech skills on your resume. If you need help with the resume or a guide on how to write IT technical resume, I also have a video that covers that and guides you on how to make your resume. Next step is, after you have your resume, you can network and socialize in different social media apps right there. We have the technology now. It's easier now to network and socialize. So there's LinkedIn and also other tech groups out there that you can join. LinkedIn is a very useful tool and social media app for networking yourself professionally. LinkedIn is where I got recruited for my job now in Disney because they said that they like my resume, and I put everything in there, my skills, my experience, my volunteer experience, and all of the work experience I had. So it's important to also meet with people who are already in the field that can help you out, or maybe they can refer you to jobs as well. So network and socialize while after you have prepared your resume, so you can show people that you have the skills, that you have this certification, and you have prepared for the job. Next after that is apply for jobs. So there's also a lot of different websites for job hunting nowadays. There's LinkedIn, you can apply for a job posting there. Indeed, Monster, and maybe a company website directly to the company that you really like to work with. So you can also try to check out the careers page and the company website. So those are the websites that you can check when you're applying for jobs, because now that you have the skills and certification and a little bit of experience from volunteering, and you have your resume prepared, and you know a little bit of people or some people or a lot of people, now is the time to apply for jobs. After applying for jobs, you can also practice for interview, and this is very important to practice because it gives you confidence, and interviews is also very important steps when applying for jobs because it helps you land a job. Interview is where you can show your skills, your personality, and that's how you get hired. So this is very important to practice for interview. Don't take it for granted. Study for the company that you're applying for. And I have tips as well. So prepare what you want to say in describing yourself. Make sure that most of that is professional, and also make sure that your personality shines in the interview. Also prepare for tech questions. A lot of companies now, especially those who are hiring for IT, ask a lot of technical questions. So I also have a video to help people with technical questions, and I also shared in that video the actual questions that I was asked during the interview. So really prepare for the technical questions, and also please prepare for questions for the interviewer. You should always have questions for the interviewer after they ask you questions. Don't skip this part. If they ask if you have questions, never say no to that, because it shows that you are not that interested in the job because you don't want to know more. So just make sure that you have questions for the interviewer as well. So now if you answered yes to, if you have a technical background, whether it's a work background or educational background, this is the roadmap for you. So it is almost very identical to the previous one that I talked about, the previous roadmap for those who have no technical background, but the only thing missing is the first step for that, which is to see if you will like IT first. So if you have a tech background, you already have an idea on what IT is all about because you have work experience or educational background. So the first step for your roadmap is to study the following skills: hardware, software, operating systems, troubleshooting, Active Directory, basic networking, security, virtualization. So study all the skills that you can earn as many skills as you need to study. And after studying and learning a lot about the skills, you can now practice what you have studied and apply the knowledge by building home labs. So you can build home labs with Active Directory, virtual machine, Windows Server, try out different commands for troubleshooting, and also try different troubleshooting tools. Practice and practice on your own, on your free time, on your own laptop, and you can learn a lot. You will also have experience on what works better and what doesn't really work well. Another thing is optional but highly recommended: get certified. There's A+, Google IT support, IBM tech support. If we already have an educational background and you already know this stuff, you can level up with your certifications. You can take Network Plus certification, Security Plus certification, or maybe even the Cisco CCNA certification if you are interested in networking. But this is really very highly recommended, especially if you don't have work experience before. Next, find volunteer work if possible so you can apply the skills and the home labs that you have learned, and also with this certification. After everything that you've learned, the knowledge, the skills, the home lab that you have built, the work experience that you have, now is the time to prepare for your resume. You now have something to put on your resume. You have the skills, the technical skills specifically. Please specify tech skills on resume. If you need help for this, I have a tutorial. And maybe add the work experience if you already had some work experience from before. Next is absolutely important: network and socialize with people. The more you meet, the more you can connect with people that can probably give you a job or can help you land your next job, or can probably mentor you, or those who know people who can mentor you. Is really connecting out there, and you can use LinkedIn and tech groups that you can join. So it's really important to network as well and show the world and the social media and the recruiters what skills you have and what certifications and experience you have. Next is apply for jobs. Now is the time to keep applying for jobs. You can apply for as many jobs as you can. There's no limit for this. So you can use different websites like LinkedIn, Indeed, Monster, or directly to the company website. Check out the careers page. If there's a company that you really want to work in, you can also do that. So keep applying and applying. If you get rejected, just keep on applying until you find the right job for you, until you get an interview. There's no harm in trying. There's no harm in applying for a job. You will not lose anything. You will learn something from it. So don't give up. Just keep applying for jobs. While you're applying for jobs, you can also practice for interview, just in case you might land your very first interview. So it's really important to practice for an interview, because an interview is your door to the job. You will land the job because you passed the interview, because you have shown your skills, your personality, what makes you the right candidate and a good fit for the jobs. So please practice for the interview, and just don't take it for granted and not prepare and practice, because it's gonna show, and you will absolutely fail an interview if you didn't practice. So tips for interview is think of something to describe yourself, because that's most likely the very first question. So think of how you can show your personality and your professionalism and all of your skills in describing yourself. Also prepare for tech questions. Most likely they will ask you a few or a lot of tech questions, so better be prepared. I also have a video to help you out for this. And most of the interviewers nowadays are going to be asking tech questions to make sure that you know your stuff, you have knowledge, and you have the skills for the job. Next, absolutely necessary is you have to prepare questions for interviewer. So if your interviewer asks you if you have questions, never say no to this, because it will just show that you're not interested with the position, you're not really that motivated to get the job. So just prepare questions for the interviewer that shows that you're interested and you really want to know more about the position or the company. Okay, so that's it. That's the entire career roadmap that you can follow as a guide on what to do if you want to start the job in IT, the steps you can take. So I am not forcing you to follow this. This is just to give you an idea on what to do, how to get started, and how to keep going when you already finished studying and all. So this is just a guide, and this is not really what everyone follows, but you are free to follow this or skip some steps if depending on your situation. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me on the comment section down below, and I will respond to you. And I hope you guys learned something from this video and enjoy this video, and I hope to see you guys in my next videos. Thank you so much for watching.